Governor Walker is also proposing to remove taxpayer support to state parks and to make up for the $4.6 million by raising campsite and entrance fees by a couple of bucks. We have a caller who wants to weigh in on this issue. Steve is with us from Danbury. Steve, pretty cold up in that neck of the woods. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks, John. Percentage-wise, it is a large increase. I'm not opposed to the idea of users paying for what they get, but really this is another instance of Walker setting up sort of a clash between ideologies. It's the idea that we can't do anything collectively anymore, and it's really another step toward privatization of something that we as a public have always shared and taken pride in. And I think when we find out that the user fee increases won't adequately cover the budget cuts, then what we'll see is garbage accumulating next to garbage cans in state parks and overworked employees in these state parks, and then the argument will be advanced that couldn't the private sector do this better. So, your Republican guest wants us to call it what it is on other issues. Let's call this what it is and stop pretending like this is somehow going to enhance the operation of the state parks, because really it's designed to tear down something that we built up, just as the university cuts are. It's something that we built up together and all taken pride in. So let's call it what it is. It's a clash of how we look at these things.
Steve, thanks for thanks for sharing your insights. Michelle, you want to respond to Steve?
Well, I would agree. It's a clash about how we look at these things. I mean, we've got the choice. We've got a tight budget. We have the choice of either not funding it or the choice of increasing a user fee. I don't believe anyone in the state of Wisconsin is going to let our parks go to crap. We're not going to have garbage laying all over the place in our parks. We have too much respect for those and too many users for those parks and our land in the state of Wisconsin. So, but I do believe we do have a difference of opinion. There are many of us who believe in user fees. We support the idea of user fees. And then you've got others who want everything paid for with other people's money. So I believe, again, if you're looking at the way Republicans look at it, yeah, we do support increasing the user fee by $3 for your state park pass.
Let's get another quick call in here on this topic from Mary in Madison, and then we can move on. Mary, go ahead.
Okay, my concern in terms of the funding for the parks is that some parks are very readily attended and some are sparsely attended, and what happens to those parks. And I do think that I agree totally with the previous caller. I think it's an effort to commercialize these parks. And then there was a little bit of an article in the paper that said in another state they ended up allowing fracking in their state park. And that is my concern, is that this is all, they say it's all about the budget, but they could change the budget just like they did in Minnesota with raising taxes. We'd all be glad. I'd be glad to give my $5 to fund the parks and everything else.
Okay, Ruth, kind of final comment from you on this, and then we'll move to another topic.
I think both callers have really spoken eloquently to this, and I think it is fundamentally an issue of whether we as Wisconsinites believe that we want to take care of our parks because that's a value we hold in common, or whether we want to just throw it to the market and say, hey, if people come and use them, maybe they'll be funded, and if they're not, they'll be abandoned, and it's really up to the individual to support a park system. It's up to the individual. If you have the money and you can afford it, you can go to a private site. You can send your kids to a private school. It's the politics of people who have money saying, hey, I'm going to pay my way. Good luck to the rest of you. And that is a stark contrast with what has historically been our value system in Wisconsin, which is we believe that we can work together and maintain a beautiful environment, great parks, a top-tier university system, a top-tier public school system, and that's really what's at risk here. It is fundamentally the ideology of destruction of the common good. And I think that the caller spoke really eloquently about that, and that's absolutely right. That's what's at stake.